Alright, so we got some huge, mega big Pokemon news going on. Normally I don't make videos like this, but let's go ahead and talk about it. So, back in 2025, Pokemon, or the Nintendo rather, was granted a patent by the US Trademark and Patent Office to basically own the rights and the ability to the game mechanic of catching Pokemon, or catching a monster to have it fight for you, catching a creature to have it fight for you, the notion of basically summoning a creature to fight for you, etc., etc. Now, if that sounds crazy to you, don't worry. The U.S. Patent Office thought the same thing. Now, what's crazy about this entire situation, one, the notion that you could patent what is honestly a trope in much Japanese gaming as it is now, the notion of fighting with a summon or summoning somebody up between all the various things that came before Pokemon and events that came after. Heck, the notion of, like, having animals fight each other for the amusement of their owners, that while it's terrible and awful and horrible, in reality, that's functionally what Pokemon is. It's not a new idea. So how did they get the patent? Well, the way the patent office works is you submit the idea, the patent, and trademark, whatever it might be, and then a lawyer typically, and it's usually like one, maybe two, will review it. And what's that mean? It means they can make mistakes. And this one was pretty egregious just based on what the U.S. Patent Office did shortly thereafter. Typically, if you want to challenge a patent, whether it's valid or not, etc., you have to actually file a claim as a person who you think might, let's say I owned a video game that also had this. Let's say I'm the owner of Palworld, and I'm like, no, you can't do this. This patent's invalid. I would have to sue. I'd have to go through a legal process. But that's not what happened here. Here, Pokemon or Nintendo wasn't sued by anybody. They were essentially the U.S. Trademark and Patent Office decided to review it sua sponte, or on their own, spontaneously, without anybody coming to them saying, hey, we got a problem. And they reviewed it, and it was basically the guy who runs the patent office now, the Trump appointee. He came out and said, yeah, we're going to review this, and then they did. And guess what happened? The patent was revoked. Now, this probably is not the be-all, end-all. There will probably be appeals and lawsuits, etc., to try to reinstate the patent, because at the end of the day, this is Nintendo's kind of bread and butter with Pokemon. If they lose this patent, it means that there's a whole series of games, whether it be Temtem, Palworld, various other designs out there that could essentially kind of usurp Pokemon. That's Pokemon's biggest issue with Palworld was not that they took their ideas, it's that they took their ideas and made them better and improved on them in many ways, made it more interesting, made obviously Pokemon with automatic rifles is pretty cool, but also just the gameplay mechanics. The worst thing that can happen to Nintendo is somebody does Pokemon better than Nintendo does, and they lose market share. And that's what was happening, and that's why they tried to get the patent, but now it's been revoked, so it's going to be a whole nother set of battles in the future. But as of right now, it's a pretty big win for anybody who wants variety in their games and have more options than just straight Pokemon with catching monsters and summoning them. And in the future, we're probably going to see more and more games come out that follow that same kind of dynamic, and we'll see more interesting ideas and gameplay mechanics, which I personally am looking forward to a great deal.